This is CommonWell TV, where we're interviewing some of the top health IT industry experts and how their organizations are assisting when it comes to interoperability. And it's time now to hear from the CTO of Bardavon, and that is Brian Gillespie. And Brian, how would you explain CommonWell and its services to somebody outside the healthcare industry?
Well, first, I appreciate you guys visiting with me this morning. We're really excited to be a CommonWell member. We've now been a member for just a few weeks, so we're really excited to be on board and start our journey down the interop path. I've been doing a lot of explaining about CommonWell, both folks outside of healthcare, but also in the PT market, which is where we play. Interop has not really been at the forefront, and we really hope to bring that forward with this relationship with CommonWell. But as I've explained it, I really use the internet analogy. I think that works on pretty much anybody that was alive long enough to not have the internet in place. The idea is before the internet, everything was point to point. So really the only data exchanges were between governments, large corporations. Small organizations just couldn't afford to do that. And when they did it, it was laborious, created a lot of toil. When the internet was invented, it created a place that anyone could, that had content, could publish that content. People could easily find it using search engines. Commonwealth is very similar. Organizations have healthcare data that they want to share with the community, and Commonwealth gives a way for providers to search that data and use it in meaningful ways.
Brian, when it comes to workers' compensation clinicians and interoperability, how does CommonWell help in that? And what are you guys doing specifically?
Yeah, so at the core, Bardavon is a PT/OT network focused on workers' compensation, focused on outcomes and transparency. So when we think about data interop, it becomes very important because as an injured worker flows through a workers' compensation case, they're likely to see their primary care and occupational medicine clinic. They may go to a specialist or a surgeon, and then they end up in physical therapy. So there's been all these touch points with that person when they reach that physical therapy, and our therapists normally don't get much information about them outside of what they get in the script. So being able to provide them a meaningful medical history coming from those upstream systems is very important. We tried to do that kind of in a more point-to-point fashion. We would never accomplish that with a nationwide network. So we think this is a key to bringing really high-quality data to our PT providers, but then also keeping the rest of those constituents and care team members up to date on what's happening in the process, where people's at, and being able to have those records back in their own systems.
You mentioned how Bardavon is now one of the newest members of the CommonWell Alliance. What have you heard here in this initial span that you've gotten initially excited about, or maybe a story that comes to mind?
Well, I think the most exciting thing for me was I reached out to CommonWell, started explaining this use case of workers' comp and physical therapy, which is a very different use case than I think pretty much all of your members in the CommonWell Alliance. And they were, first of all, they figured out the use case very quickly. It didn't take much explaining for them to understand the value of data interop in the workers' compensation space as well as in physical therapy. And they were very accepting, very welcoming, and made the process of joining the alliance very quick. So we're really excited to be on board in the openness of CommonWell to look at new, interesting use cases where data interop can really provide value.
Yeah, looking to expand that relationship as we move forward as one of the newest members to our CommonWell Alliance, that is Bardavon. And to learn more about them, we invite you to log on to commonwellalliance.org. Thanks so much, Brian.
Thank you.